everyone, I'm Annette, and it's January. It can be kind of slow on eBay, so it's the perfect time to go over ways that you can save more money on eBay and especially how you can keep more of your profit. And I recently ran into a reseller friend of mine, and I looked at her store and helped her reassess on what she's doing. I want to show you what I showed her in helping her to get more sales on eBay.
Yay! Flippin' high gravy!
I'll be covering 4 areas of getting your inventory sold. That would be window dressing, your pricing, your sourcing, and your inventory. But let me be clear that I don't ever pretend to have all the answers, that I do everything right. There are so many business models out there, so many options you have to flip on eBay. This works for me. I've done this for decades, but it works for me. Okay, back to my reseller friend. The first way to help your sales is your window dressing. Back in the day, it was how good your windows were in your shop to get people in the store. And technically that still applies because you have got sometimes only a millisecond when people are scrolling through all the thumbnails. Don't lose a sale because of a bad photo. And my friend's pictures were not that great. Some were really dark. Or on any big items, she was using a distant shot of the entire item for her thumbnail. You don't want to do that because it's impossible to show how great your item is from a distance when someone is scrolling through all these tiny photos. So show a close-up of the beautiful fabric or show a close-up of one of the amazing graphics on the item, but bring them into your shop. You've got a better chance of selling the item. Another way to get them in your shop or get them to look at your listing, don't ever put damaged or there's a piece missing in your title. Make sure you always disclose everything. Don't leave anything like that out. But I recently sold a lipstick that had a ding on the top of it from the cap hitting it. So it was brand new, but I didn't say that in the title. I made sure to show photos of it. I made sure that my price gave them a little break because of that ding, but I didn't want someone to just keep scrolling because they wondered what the damage was. Bring them into the store. You again have a better chance of selling it. And at least one other part of your window dressing is your feedback and your seller performance. None of us have the data on how many buyers look at your seller performance and your feedback. I know I do. I have friends that do. So I'm going to do whatever I can to do the best in that area. I also know that as a seller, it is inevitable that you're going to get negative feedback no matter what you do. There's just buyers out there like that do that. But let me tell you about a mistake I made unknowingly before I even knew it was a thing in relation to your seller performance. I was not aware that if you have something out of stock, let's say you lost the item broke when you were getting ready to ship it, and now you have to contact the buyer and tell them it's no longer available. What do? One time I could not find an item I had sold, so I contacted the buyer. I apologized. I canceled the sale, noting that it was out of stock. So unbeknownst to me, that was a defect on my seller performance, and you get enough of those and you will have higher seller fees. If you really get too many, then you are permanently banned from eBay. But ironically, I found the item a day or two later. It was wedged in between a couple of other items and it was right where it should be. So I relisted it and sold it to that same buyer. But meanwhile, I had one defect. If that were to happen today, I would contact the buyer and say, unfortunately, I misplaced it. Would you like to wait a few days and see if I find it? Or would you just like me to cancel the sale? And if they said that, I would just say buyer asked to cancel the sale. You're not lying. You never want to lie, but that way you wouldn't have to put out of stock. And as you know, if the buyer asks to cancel the sale, it is not a strike against your account. Let's take a quick break here. You guys are always asking me for a good bolo, and I've got a really good one for you here. Do you know how you see Hallmark ornaments everywhere? I see them at estate sales and yard sales. But did you know about the first and second ornaments in the series of Frosty Friends? It's the little Eskimo on the ice cube. Look at what they sell for. And the next area of making more money on eBay involves your pricing. And to me, it's one of the best ways to literally give yourself a raise. I've got some great illustrations for you. And let's again acknowledge that there are so many business models on eBay, and mine is maybe a little more patient. I like to wait for top dollar usually. It doesn't mean I don't have exceptions. If I've had inventory for a long time, let's say the item's been sitting around for a while, or the item was part of a box lot, it's not all that great, I will probably sell it cheaply, but in general, I'm holding out for top dollar. Now, when I go over these examples, think about the extra profit that would accumulate if you applied this to every item that you could. It's not always going to apply, but the items it will apply to will be items that you've more or less got a one of a kind or close to one of a kind, or you have an item with extra special features. And I'll give you an example. And then the last item would be an item that every last one of them sells. So the first example I'm going to give you, these are all recent sales I had these little red dexterity games. They were really old, and in fact, they're pretty beat up. But I saw that every last red one sold, and I saw that the median price was about $25 to $30. So I added about $10, and then I made the really beat up one a little less than that. Now I'm thinking I should have just added $10 to that too. Well, both of them sold overnight. Don't be afraid to list it for a higher price. If every last one sells, people will pay that price. And this was a great profit. When I was researching these plush dogs, I noticed that there were quite a few on eBay, but almost no pairs. So I thought I'll start a little high. I started at $100. Well, they sold overnight. Don't be afraid to start high. You can always come down in price. And if you source an item that is a little different than all the other ones like it, or it's unique in some way compared to the others, price it higher. You can always come down. That's what happened with this sweater I just sold. I noticed that almost all the other sweaters like it were red, and I thought maybe someone's looking for a green sweater, so I priced it higher than all of them, and it only took a couple days and it did sell. And the most discretionary pricing you can have is when you have a one-of-a-kind item, or it's close to a one-of-a-kind item. A different reseller friend of mine, she had a really special Delft blue item. That's those blue and white items from Holland that are really popular. There's a ton of Delft on eBay, but this was a really special item. I noticed that she sold it for $16, and I am convinced she could have made $40 up to $60 for this item. So don't be afraid to start higher. And I probably should take my own advice. I'm wondering if I left money on the table here, but I recently listed some very rare photos, and I kind of diminished their value, perhaps. I'll never know. But the photos were extremely tattered. In fact, they had pieces of them missing. And I started them at $150. I thought I was starting really high, but they sold immediately. And I think I could have started a little higher. I'm still very grateful for the profit. But again, don't be afraid to start high. Let's pause real quick for another great bolo. Keep an eye out for Bucilla kits. They should be sealed, and the older the better. It's generally going to mean more money for you. But as a matter of fact, I shipped another one today. They're not fragile. They're just a dream to list because you need one photo, that's it. So make sure you look out for those. And if you've watched my other videos, you already know that every time I list something now, I include free shipping. eBay still charges you fees on your shipping. All you need to do is build the shipping fee into your listing price. It's not going to cost you anymore, but there are a lot of buyers that filter to find only listings that offer free shipping. So give yourself a raise by getting more sales by offering free shipping. Now, the third part of reselling where you can save a lot of money and hence keep more of your profits would be in your sourcing. The first thing you want to do, if you haven't seen a video of me talking about it yet, is go to estate sales where they give you bulk pricing. Don't go to estate sales where they stick to every single price tag they see you week after week and never give you a discount. The second thing you should do is anytime you're at a yard sale, ask for a discount. If the item is 10, offer 5. 99.9% of the time, they will say yes. And I can't even total how much money I have saved doing that. I have lots of video that shows me doing that all the time. There is 7 in here. Would you take 5?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Would you take 3 for this?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But get comfortable with that. You will be shocked at the money you save. The last thing you should do, and this is probably my favorite because I wrote down a couple examples for you, is anytime you have an opportunity to buy something in bulk, don't stand around thinking about it because someone might scoop it right up from under you. But just immediately ask, how much are you asking for all of this? And I still am selling shoes where I got them for 50 cents a pair. I think I bought 70 pair. That was 2 years ago. I just sold another pair this week. I bought 100 pair of flannel FootJoy shoe bags for $15 total. They've been selling for 15 each. Do the math. I bought a huge lot of makeup. I'm still selling that. I paid $100 for the whole lot. Anytime you can buy in bulk, scoop it up. The last part of reselling I wanted to cover is your inventory itself. Now, if you want to give yourself a raise in this area, I would recommend trying to get over 1,000 items in your store, if at all possible. I really noticed a shift. I've had other reseller friends tell me the same thing. Once you have 1,000 items, it's like all of a sudden you can be gone for a week and you're still making decent sales. There's just a real shift in your sales growth. So if at all possible, shoot for 1,000 items. And another way to give yourself a raise is to save money on shipping supplies and ideally get them for free like I do. I pay almost nothing for shipping supplies. I have recruited family and friends. I have basically all that I need. Another option for free shipping supplies would be the Buy Nothing app. People go on there for all kinds of things. I can't believe what people give and get for free on that app. So I hope that helps you to find free shipping supplies if you don't know about it. My next video will have more bolos for you, and I really hope this video helped you. If you haven't subscribed, please support my channel by subscribing. Feel free to leave a question in the comments below. And until then, I'll see you on the next video.